Hey, what's up? It's Tony Dio, and this is the Metal Emporium. Today I'm going to talk to you about the band Y&T, and I'm going to show you my Y&T collection. Y&T, originally known as Yesterday and Today, were formed in Oakland, California in the early 1970s and released their first album in 1976. They're made up of Dave Medichetti on lead vocals and guitar, drummer Leonard Hayes, bassist Phil Kennemore, and guitarist Joey Alves. This is their first album, Yesterday and Today, released in 1976. The band was still called Yesterday and Today. They hadn't shortened it to Y&T yet. This was on the London record label. There's some cool tracks on this one: Earthshaker, Beautiful Dreamer, Alcohol. Some cool stuff, 25 hours a day. Some of them that went on to be in their set list on through the years. Their second album, 1978, Struck Down on the London label. Some cool ones on this one as well. The title track, Struck Down, Road, Dreams of Egypt, I'm Lost, Stargazer, some really cool stuff. This is actually autographed. I met the band, I saw them for the first time around 2003 and was able to get them to autograph some stuff for me. This is actually autographed by Phil Kennemore, Dave Medichetti, and Leonard Hayes. So in 1981, the band signed to A&M Records. They also shortened the name from Yesterday and Today to Y&T, just simple Y&T. And they released the excellent Earthshaker album. Here's my Japanese copy here. This is a great record. It's got so many good songs on this one, man. I mean, they really come into becoming a serious hard rock band by this time. Hungry for Rock, just a great opening track. Dirty Girl, Shake It Loose, Squeeze, Rescue Me. Side 2 has Young and Tough, Hurricane, Let Me Go, Knocked You Out, and I Believe in You. Here's an import single for I Believe in You, and the B-side is Rescue Me. And Dave Medichetti actually autographed this one for me. Another import single, here's this one's for Dirty Girl. This one's also signed by Dave. B-sides on this is Knock You Out and Hungry for Rock. 1982, we get the excellent Black Tiger album. Check out that cover, I just love that cover. This is my Japanese copy here. This was actually produced by Max Norman, who is famous for doing Ozzy, and he did so many bands in the 80s. Loudness, Armored Saint, later worked with Lynch Mob, great producer. This is a really, really good record. Just this is when the band is really coming into with their hard rock chops on this one. From the Moon into Open Fire, great opening track. The band should always open live with that track. Don't Want to Lose You, Hell or High Water, Forever. Now, Forever is like a speed metal love song. It's just fast-paced song, and I've always just said, yeah, it's like a speed metal love song. It's just great. I mean, it's great. Killer, like double bass and killer guitar work in that one. The title track, of course, Black Tiger, Ballroom Boogie, My Way or the Highway, and When's the Change. Here's an import 7-inch single that Dave signed for me, and this is for I Don't Want to Lose You, and the B-side is Squeeze. I think I first discovered the band around 84 or so. There was a compilation record that came out called Masters of Metal. It was a compilation on the K-Tel label, and there was a song called Mean Streak on it, and that's just such a great song, and it came from this great album from 1983. This is Mean Streak, and this one was actually produced by Chris Sangiovese, the guy. He actually recorded did produce some records for Thin Lizzy, Tigers of Pantang, and so many other of our metal heroes. But this is such a great record. You got the title track, Mean Streak, which is one of the heaviest tracks Y&T ever did. I mean, one of the just blistering guitar solo from Dave on that one. Straight Through the Heart, Lonely Side of Town, Midnight in Tokyo, great song. Breaking Away, Hang 'em High, Take You to the Limit, Sentimental Fool, and Down and Dirty. Mean Streak. Here's an import 12-inch single for the song Mean Streak that Dave actually autographed for me. You've got Straight Through the Heart and Dirty Girl as your B-sides on this one. And also the excellent Midnight in Tokyo got a 12-inch import single as well. You've got Ballroom Boogie and Squeeze are the B-sides on this one. And Dave signed this one as well. 1984, we got In Rock We Trust, and they had their new mascot, Rock, the robot, on the front cover here. Here's a Japanese copy of that. This was a really good album. This was produced by Tom Allom, who is famous for producing Judas Priest for many years. He also did Crocus and Loverboy, and even worked with Black Sabbath at one point. But there's some great tunes on this one as well. Rock and Roll is Gonna Save the World, Life, 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 Master and Slaves, I'll Keep on Believing, Break Out Tonight, Lipstick and Leather, Don't Stop Running. Gotta love Don't Stop Running, one of my favorite tracks by them. Your Love Is Driving Me Crazy, She's a Liar, and This Time, In Rock We Trust. Here's a import single for the song Don't Stop Running. It's actually a little mini LP for Donington 84, when they actually played 1984 at the Donington Fest at Castle Donington in England. This one has Don't Stop Running, Rock and Roll is Gonna Save the World, Mean Streak, and I Believe in You. And Dave Menichetti actually signed this one for me as well. Said it came with a souvenir patch, but by the time I got this, the patch was missing, sadly. This is a radio promo single, 12-inch single for the song Lipstick and Leather. Next up, in 1985, the band released their first live EP called Open Fire, and there was some great live tracks on this one. Open Fire, which I said was a great opener. Go for the Throat, 24 Hours a Day, Rescue Me, Forever, Ballroom Boogie, and I Believe in You. And it also had a studio track on this one that featured for the song Summertime Girls. Now that got a music video, and man, I remember that summer of '85, that video was on MTV in heavy rotation. It was a huge hit for the band. This is my Japanese copy, and this was the cover art in Japan and in the US. In Europe, they got a different cover. Here's an import 12-inch single for Summertime Girls. It features the studio version and a live version of the song, and also has Lipstick and Leather as well. And Dave has signed this one here for me as well. Later in 1985, they released another studio album, Down for the Count. This was a pretty good record overall. It also featured Summertime Girls as well. They wanted to capitalize on that hit, so they put it on the full-length record as well. This is a Japanese copy that I have of that. Some great songs on this one: In the Name of Rock, All American Boy, Anytime at All, Anything for Money, Face Like an Angel, Looks Like Trouble, Don't Tell Me What to Wear, which is kind of stupid when you see these costumes that they're kind of wearing on the back. But it was the 80s, and just some bands had a hard time finding that look, you know, and Y&T was one of them. They were a good hard rock band, but they were kind of trying to fit into the whole glam metal scene at the time, and more on that later. But they also do a cover of Your Mama Don't Dance, the old Loggins and Messina song on here. And here's a single for All American Boy with the B-side of Go for the Throat. And it's actually autographed by Dave as well. Down for the Count was also produced by Kevin Beamish. Now Kevin had done the multi-platinum High Infidelity record for REO Speedwagon. He had worked with Jefferson Starship. He later worked with Keel and Leatherwolf. Just a hot producer at the time. And Kevin would produce their next album too. Now, the band left A&M Records and signed with Geffen Records and released Contagious in 1987. This is a Japanese copy of that. Now, you know, I was talking about the band trying to fit in with the whole glam metal scene that was going on at the time. And so they actually, at this point, replaced Leonard Hayes, the longtime drummer, and in his place was Jimmy DeGrasso. And Jimmy went on later on to play with like Alice Cooper, and he was in Suicidal Tendencies, Megadeth, a whole bunch of different bands through the years. So Jimmy comes in and they record this album, and it's more on the commercial side, but there's some really good songs on it. You can actually see the picture of the band on the back, and they were kind of glammy looking, but it's got some good songs on this record. I mean, the title track, Contagious, got a music video, and that was in heavy rotation on MTV. I remember seeing that a lot. LA Rocks, Temptation, Kid Goes Crazy, Fight for Your Life, Armed and Dangerous, Rhythm or Not, Bodily Harm, Eyes of a Stranger, and I'll Cry for You. Some good stuff on this. Here's a radio promo for the song Contagious. It's just a one song. And here's a promotional Japanese 7-inch single for the song Contagious. The band comes back in 1990 with the album 10. Now, this one was produced by Mike Stone, who had worked with Queen, Journey, Foreigner, and most recently the Whitesnake 1987 record. This would be their last album for Geffen Records and features some pretty cool songs. Hard Times, Lucy, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, Girl Crazy, Jet City, Come In From the Rain, Red Hot and Ready, She's Gone, Let It Out, 10 Lovers, Going Off the Deep End, and Surrender. This is actually a Columbia House pressing on vinyl. By the time that this record came out in 1990, Geffen had pretty much stopped making vinyl in the US. There was a vinyl release in Europe, but in the US there wasn't, other than record club pressing. So this is actually a pretty rare record here that I'm holding. 1991, the band released Yesterday and Today live. This was on the Metal Blade label. This was supposedly the band's farewell show in front of a hometown crowd. It's a double album. It's great. It was just reissued by Metal Blade Records in recent times. Okay, so I've shown you what I have on vinyl, my vinyl collection from Y&T. So I'm going to go back and show you some CDs here, and that'll kind of continue on with the discography from there. Yesterday and Today, live 1974 at the Record Plant. This is an unofficial CD. This is recorded in '74 for FM broadcast. And it features songs that would show up on the first two Y&T albums, and some songs that never actually got recorded for album. The first two Yesterday and Today albums on CD. Now, these came out sometime in the 90s, and they've actually become collector's items. They're really hard to get. They've been released as 2-on-1s in recent years, but not as singles. Now, the Y&T albums that were on A&M Records were really tough to get on CD during the 80s and early 90s. Later, sometime in the late 90s, they actually got put out on CD in Japan, and they were quite expensive, but I ended up getting them all at imports and at record shows. Here's Earthshaker from Japan, and it's autographed by Phil and by Dave. Black Tiger. Mean Streak. In Rock We Trust. Down for the Count. Here's a bootleg recording from the '82 Pink Pop Festival in the Netherlands. This was on Metal Memory, which they did a whole series of bootleg live recordings from different metal bands. And this is a really, really good one. It's called Young and Tough. Here's an unofficial recording from the Mean Streak tour in 1983, recorded in California. It was a radio broadcast, and it sounds really good. Here's the Majestic Rock, the European version of Open Fire on CD. And the band did a run of this album through Hippo record label, where it's like a little mini record album, and it's got the original artwork on it, and it's got like a little booklet in it, and very, very nice. Of course, Contagious on CD. So, the 10 album. This is a promo copy of the 10 album on CD. And it looks a little different. It had a blacked out jewel case cover here that you could see through to see the number 10 with the photo that was underneath it with the logo. So the first time I went to see Y&T and ever got to see them live, they played up at Jack's in Virginia, and I think it was around 2003 or 4. And the band, it was all the original band except Joey Alves, and guitarist Steph Burns was with them then, and Steph actually played on the 10 album. So I was going to get everybody to sign it. Of course, Jimmy DeGrasso played on this album, not Leonard Hayes. Well, Leonard was with them. So it was Phil, Dave, Steph, and Leonard. Well, like I said, Leonard didn't play on this. Everybody autographed it. And Leonard goes, "Oh, I didn't play on that," and he didn't sign it. Then he goes, "Wait a minute, I want to sign it anyhow." And he wrote, as you can see up here, he wrote his name, he wrote Leonard Hayes, and in parentheses, he put unable to attend. And from the 10 album, here is a single for Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. It's got several different versions of it on here, some remixes and so forth. Yesterday and Today live. At that same meet and greet, I got them all to autograph this best of Y&T CD. So 4 years after they split up, after playing that farewell concert, that lineup, the 10 lineup, came back together and recorded this album in 1995, Musically Incorrect. This was on the Fuel label, independent label. I mean, this is the height of grunge and everything. Y&T puts a Y&T type album out, and it still is some great stuff on this one, man. Long Way Down, Fly Away, Cold Day in Hell, I've Got My Own, Don't Know What to Do, 21st Century, No Regrets, some good stuff on this. 2 years later, they returned with Endangered Species, and this was on the D-Rock label, which was a short-lived label that was doing a lot of hard rock metal bands at the time. Some good tracks on here. Hello, I'm Back Again, Black Gold, Give Me the Beat, Still Falling, Voices, Can't Stop the Rain. Yeah, some cool stuff on this for the time. 1998, this cool live CD came out. It's BBC Live in Concert. This is the recordings they had done for the BBC when they were over in England. This one actually has 1982 and 1984 recordings on it. It's really good. So the band started back playing again in the early 2000s. Eventually, Steph couldn't stay, so they brought in John Nyman on guitar, and of course Leonard Hayes had come back, but he had to go again, and Mike Vanderhoof was brought in on drums. Now, John Nyman actually had worked with the band way back on the In Rock We Trust tour. He had been their offstage keyboard player, he'd done backing vocals, and he actually came out in the robot costume as Rock. They had a robot costume made for the mascot during that tour. This lineup would go in the studio, and in 2010, they released the album Face Melter, and this was definitely a return to form for the band. Here's a copy that I've got completely autographed by the whole band. There were some kick-ass songs on this one. I mean, On With The Show, How Long, Shine On, I Want Your Money, Wild Child, I'm Coming Home, If You Want Me, Hot Shot, Blind Patriot, Don't Bring Me Down, Gonna Go Blind, One Life, and this one has a bonus track, Losing My Mind. Face Melter, so far the last studio album by Y&T. A couple other cool pieces to show you here. Y&T released these two CDs, Unearthed Volume 1 and Volume 2. Now these are really cool because it's a lot of unreleased material that they did over the years, a lot of demos and writing sessions that were recorded. There's some stuff from the early 70s on here. There's some demos from the 80s, of course. They actually did a demo with Ronnie Montrose producing in 1988, and a bunch of those songs are featured here. There's some original versions of songs that were later changed and parts were used in other songs. There's a song that was in a movie called Out of Bounds. Briefly, that song is featured here. A lot of cool stuff on these Unearthed editions. Sadly, bassist Phil Kennemore died in 2011 from lung cancer. Not long after that, he was replaced by Brad Lang and then later by Aaron Lee. But they continued on, and here's a live album that they put out at the time. It's Live at the Mystic, and that came out in 2012. 2018, they did the Live Acoustic Classics CD. That was really cool. Acoustic versions of Contagious, Rock and Roll's Gonna Save the World, Summertime Girls, Black Tiger, Barroom Boogie, and Rescue Me. This is Dave Meniketti's first solo album from 2002. This is the only one I have by him, and it's actually really good. It sounds a lot like Y&T. In 2019, they released the documentary. It's On With The Show. It's an in-depth documentary about the band. It's on DVD and Blu-ray. This is very well done, very in-depth, and I highly recommend checking it out if you can find it. Sadly, drummer Leonard Hayes passed away in 2016, and Joey Alves passed away in 2017. I don't actually have the home videos that came out back in the day, but here's a few DVDs I have. This is a video collection that's unofficial. Here is Live at the Reading Festival 1982. And Live at San Francisco Civic. This was released on home video back in the day. This is an unofficial copy on DVD. Here's one released in 2007, Y&T Live One Hot Night. This was a CD DVD combo, just a great live show of the band, and I highly recommend checking out this book, Down for the Count. This is a book about Y&T written by a friend of mine named Tim Durling, and this is an in-depth look at each album. It goes through each song on each album, and it's just awesome. And that's my Y&T collection. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave some comments. And be sure to stay metal and check out Y&T.